Hello and welcome. I'm joined by Joy Basu, CEO of Smart Ship Hub Digital. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you, Jade, once again.
So, what does the Smart Ship Hub Digital platform provide, and how is it different to digital tools on the market?
Okay. So, right from the inception, we were very clear what is the core purpose of having this organization. And we were very sure that we want to be in the complete value chain. So, which means we work on high frequency data from the sensors. So, right from upstream data collection from the ships till the moment it gets collated, and finally the shore officers and the people and the ecosystem that they use the data. The entire value chain today has probably 5 to 6 organizations working in bits and pieces. So one of the major differentiation we wanted to bring across is how could we be the one to have a singular platform, the unified platform experience. The second thing that we were very sure is how do you bring down the cost of technology for people? And what is also important is with digitalization, data has become democratic. People have more access to it. When people have access to data, you should allow them to also use the data in a manner that it benefits their business and operations. That's like the third area we bring a lot of impact in. Compliance, whether it is the decarbonization or the CII, EU, ETS, and a whole lot of other compliances coming in, we are very sure that our customers must be compliant. So when there is a platform, by the way, it's not a tool, it's a platform. It's an end-to-end experience. So right from the ship owners to the operators, to the charterers, to the ship insurers, the makers, all of them derive data from our platform to provide the value that the ecosystem wants. That's like the biggest differentiation we bring in. And just to touch upon the fact that it's not only the compliance, it is also the business viability. So there is a lot of turmoil, as we would say so in the maritime world. It's not very stable, goes up and down, whether it is COVID or post-COVID or could be any external conditions. How do you have a trade which is more viable? And that's only possible when you have a technology that supports your processes, when you have data that gives you intelligence, when you have people which has both. And finally, this data has to help you in predicting. And that is where we specialize in predictive diagnostics, predictive maintenance. We help in predicting the complete vessel and the voyage parameters and how the business is going to look. So it's an amalgamation of the chartering, the commercial, the ship technical, the maintenance, the procurement, the entire chain. And that's exactly what Smart Ship is, a unified platform, and that makes us different from what others would do as a platform.
Amazing. And we're here at Posidonia, and it feels like a lot of people are talking about digitalization within shipping.
Yes.
So how do small to medium-sized businesses embrace digitalization?
Right. So, although probably the world's top 10 companies, many of them work with us, but the larger set of business that we run and the value that we add is to the small and medium-sized maritime companies, the owners, operators of that category. Something very important for an SME or a small and medium-sized organization says, how much am I paying to get digitally smart versus what kind of value do I derive at the end of it? So once we have this equation clearly put out there, the adoption becomes easy. So just to give an example, small and medium-sized enterprises are normally not the first movers. They always wait and watch. And that's a good strategy, because the bigger movers, the bigger organizations, the MOLs, the NYK, the Maersk, the K-Lines of the world, they are always the ones who are setting the trend. However, in last 2-3 years, when digital platforms started getting implemented, there have been success stories, there have been a lot of learning. There have been areas where people spent a lot of dollars and were wanting to have more value derived. So there was a tremendous gap between what was expected versus what they got. And hence, something which is very important is to have an objective and an end goal in mind. So for a small and medium-sized enterprises, we always start with the end goal. We help them see what is it they're going to get, what kind of value will they derive, what kind of cost will they save, what kind of processes are getting smarter, how are the people are going to spend less time in managing the tasks. All these are presented first. And the second thing that we do is, with this 2 years of experience of having done more than hundreds of vessels, we put together a blueprint. So there is a blueprint and a roadmap. And that is like, for a medium-sized or a small enterprise, it's like a copy-paste. Your work processes, your workflows, your challenges, the kind of people you work with are pretty much the same. However, the platform also allows you to customize. So when you have a digital platform where the roadmap is there, that the blueprint exists, the end goal is drafted out, the key performance indicators are known. For any organization, that's like an easy stat. And they're not taking any kind of a gamble on the dollar that they're playing, but have a tremendous visibility into what they're going to achieve. What has also happened in this while is the cost of technology has plummeted tremendously. So when organizations about 3 years back, they would have spent hundreds of thousands of dollars to do something, which is, I would say, less than 1/10 right now. And the areas where SmartShip works in, we are working towards making the cost of technology near zero, which means a mid-sized or a small organization will never think about budgets. They will pay for the services that they take on the digital platform. They will probably not pay the top dollar for having the data collection from the ship, or for having a tool that is set up on the platform, or for that matter have a software that eases their chartering and commercial or vessel performance. They will just pay for using it. It's pay per use. It is the SaaS model, which also brings down the cost. And when people start like that, they start at a very lower cost, lesser number of people engaging, they derive value, more people engage, more are the number of people talking to each other on that platform. That's where the data flow happens, and that's where the usage increases. And that's exactly where the adoption starts coming in. You can say it's a little slow, but something very important is all the success stories are only for the organizations or from the organizations where senior management downwards, there has been larger involvement, there have been larger commitment, and there have been a commitment towards this transition from a legacy way of working to a smarter way of working, which is backed by data, intelligence, and evidence. So that's what has been our experience globally so far.
What trends are you forecasting for the future? Is there anything that companies should be looking out for?
Absolutely. There are areas which has been charted out in terms of where is the maritime as a business is moving. The first and foremost is this data and the digital platforms have started bringing the owners, operators, charterers, everybody together, even the classification agencies where you have to have your submissions or your reports and all. So far, people transact with each other. There is a business relationship with each other. But it's moving on to a point where not only transaction, but you also add value to each other. So the data that the ship owner gets adds a lot of value and transparency in operation for the ship operator. That in turn adds a value in the way procurement and maintenance cycles are managed. That in turn is shared, and that high quality data is also used to feed into the class. So there is a complete chain of events that is happening. So the first and foremost, the trend is the unified platform bringing these entities together. That's the first one. There is even a bigger thing that is happening, which is the shared economy. We have seen that happen in every other businesses. We see aircrafts, they all are connected to each other, which means you have British Airways and Lufthansa and Delta and others. Some has One World, some has Star Alliance, and all of them work together. And what is happening now in Maritime is organizations and fleets will come together to learn from each other. They will share data with each other. They will actually share capacity with each other, which has already started happening in dry bulk segment. And containers have been having for a while. It's a distributed system that is getting created, which means when 500 vessels are connected with each other, they know where to procure your spare parts from. So you're not procuring for 10 vessels or 20. You're actually procuring for 500 vessels because they are all working together. So there is economies of scale in that. People who are sellers and suppliers of spare parts, they are happy to work with 500 ships rather than with 5, 10, 20 ships at a time when the procurement happens. So as this industry starts sharing data, people share weather pattern with each other, they share the trading routes. So if 20 vessels are taking a particular route, maybe only 15 will go. The remaining 5 will stay back for some more time because there is a scheduling algorithm which is working behind, which will ensure at what point of time they are maximal loaded, maybe not 77%, they will be 85, 87, 93% laden. So there is a top line that is coming in that. And this is unbelievable to a lot of people, but not to people when we look into an Uber, when we look into a connected aircraft that's happening, we look into road logistics. So the whole industry is moving towards connected ecosystem. And this is where I want to bring in a point that technology has become cross-border right now. Earlier, organizations had regional affinity to work with each other. So maybe a Norwegian, Swedish ship owner would be working with a locally located another technology provider, or a Japanese company would be working with another Japanese organization. But the whole thing has changed. So the trend right now is wherever they see value, wherever they are able to clearly articulate long-term value appropriation, they will go into it. And there is a lot of evidence in that. You would have seen even a very traditional society like Japan, where we can have organizations like MOL and YK. They broke the barriers, they adopted new technology, they invested in organizations, they invited companies from all over the world to come to Japan and showcase tech so that they can be part of it. And recently, we have had this company, Nakakita, another global leader, as well as Japanese leader since last 94 years. They significantly participated with Smart Ship Hub, not only as a go-to partner, but also significantly in terms of dollars to be on our cap table. So this shift globally will be more apparent as organizations and larger companies will be looking out for value-driven products and platforms to have a lasting value creation in the entire ecosystem. Okay, thank you.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for your time and insights today. I hope you enjoy the rest of Posidonia.
Thank you, Jade, so much, and thank you for your time to take that for this interview.